Welcome to Fall Summit, a story-based podcast about tales, trails, and epic fails. I'm Octavia.
And I'm Em.
How you doing now?
Good. Although now I'm listening to our podcast back.
Yeah.
Well, we've been doing that since the beginning, so I continue to listen to our podcast back.
Yes.
My and I'm Em sounds very much like another podcast that we listen to.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to say?
Crime Junkies.
Crime Junkies.
Yeah, they're the best podcast ever. I love them.
Yeah.
They're the best.
So I sound like
Brit.
And I'm Brit. But I don't think that was intentional. It was just like
it just happened. That
yeah.
way.
But I think it's because like it's a one syllable name. So like Ashley Flowers is
I know.
And I'm Ashley is 2 syllables. And you say
Octavia is 3 syllables.
Right. And mine is just
Ashley
1.
Flowers is 3 syllables. Isn't it?
Does she say
Ashley? Yeah, she says her full name.
She does?
Yeah.
Because Brit just says Brit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, for those of you just joining, we're going to bring you 2 stories and our thoughts on the tales, ending with Trail Mix by Em, who will bring you 3 songs, and then Trail Etiquette and Other Shit by me.
By yours truly.
By mine truly. That doesn't work that way.
Yeah. I just realized
mine truly.
Mine truly.
Yours truly.
No, yours truly would be if you said it. But I said yours truly, but that would mean me.
Oh, but then I said
which is
mine's
confusing.
truly, which means nothing.
But it can work.
It works.
It works. Anyway, how are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm gearing up for Adriana's 10th birthday sleepover, which is going to be crazy.
Which reminds me I need to take off for that.
Yeah. If you're going to work on Friday, because it's on Friday.
Yeah. Remember, my schedule's shifting. So.
Oh, I do remember that, yeah.
So I have to go in and tell them that I can't work on the 10th.
Yeah, that's a good idea. You probably should do that like ASAP.
Yeah. So tomorrow.
Well, it's going to be, we don't have an exact number yet, but there's going to be a bunch of girls, 10-year-old girls.
Has anyone confirmed yet?
A few. Yeah. So there's going to be a bunch of 10-year-old girls. They're all going to be crazy fun. We're going to have like, I don't know. What do you think we should? I was thinking spa day stuff, like little masks, get your nails done.
Are we gonna get that professionally done?
No, I'm professional.
Oh,
I'm really good at nails. You know that.
Yeah, I'm not.
No.
So I'll just be standing there.
Yeah. And I was thinking, because I was thinking we could do build your own pizza in the kitchen.
That'd be fun, yeah.
And you can be in charge of that. Yay. Well,
Chef
pizza
segment.
maker.
Chef Em.
Yeah, Chef Em. And then we can they can come in and like do their thing. Or they can just order like they're at a restaurant where they're servants.
A 10-year-old gal gang.
A gal gang.
That was gal gangs aren't bossing me around.
Yeah. And they're all going to bring their sleepovers and camp out in the living room.
They're all going to bring their sleepovers?
They're all going to bring their sleeping bags and camp out in the living room. Yeah.
They're all going to bring their sleepovers.
Or that. I don't know. I hope she has fun, though.
I think so.
Yeah. I usually go pretty far out for her birthday, not like crazy, but I want her to have a memorable birthday experience every year. We've done different things. I mean, COVID was hard.
Art Omi was fun.
That's what we did during the COVID season because it was an outside event.
Yeah, but they got to see cool sculptures. They got to go on a nature walk.
Yeah, but the problem is her birthday is in the winter.
Right.
So it's limited what you can do outdoors.
Yeah, that was a warm
it's been warm winters every year
I don't think there was snow on the ground.
There wasn't snow.
Yeah.
No.
That's crazy.
I know. I don't know if it's going to get worse or better. The weather. I mean, this fall has been crazy.
Yeah, this fall has been pretty mild, I would say. And then all of a sudden it got cold, like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
When it should have been cold for weeks before that.
It should have. I feel like instead of it gradually getting colder and colder as the months progress, it's just like warm days, hot, cold days, warm days, cold days, no rain. We haven't had rain in 2 months.
Yeah.
We're in a major drought. It's crazy.
New York City just declared a drought.
It did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I
And
didn't
for the first
realize
time in
that.
a very long time.
I didn't realize that. New York State or New York City?
New York City.
But
I'm sure other parts
they
of
get
this.
their water from up here.
Yeah.
So that's pretty major. Wow. The world is getting crazier by the second. Makes you feel good that you can escape into 2 stories, trail mix, and some trail etiquette every week.
It really does.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we're here. We wanna kind of bring a little bit of
Joy, levity,
distraction
sure.
to, you know,
Distraction, a healthy
a
distraction.
healthy distraction away from the craziness of what everyone's experiencing these days.
And the moral of the story is make a podcast.
Make podcasts.
It's
No,
fun.
yeah, it is fun.
Or if you don't have the patience for that, because I've watched Tave edit episodes and it does require quite a bit of patience. I was listening to Tave, well,
Yeah,
you know that,
I do.
uh,
Thank you.
record, nope, edit
Yes.
last night,
Yeah.
one of our episodes, and I was in the kitchen and I was doing something, I don't remember, I think I was washing the dishes, and then I listened to the same segment at least 15 times in short succession, played back to back to back times 15. Um, and yeah, I would say I know that's awful.
It was a little bit different each time, though. I would change it
That's what you
every single
said.
time I would play it. I would
Yeah.
change a teeny bit, and then I would play it again. I had to make sure it's perfect.
No, and the final product sounds amazing, and you're really talented.
Thank
I
you.
just can't do that.
Yeah.
It's not my forte. I do the
Luckily,
social media stuff. I
yeah.
am good at that. I'm good at, finding some stories. So are you. But you're really good at the editing. I cannot. My my heart was like up in my throat,
Yeah.
and it was like, "Ugh."
Well, luckily, I don't have to do too much editing. It's mostly the dogs, when they get annoying.
Yeah.
And I don't want everyone to have to be bothered with whining and barking. They probably, whoever, if anyone out there has dogs, they know what I'm talking about.
The infamous tippy
And the tippy
tappies.
tappies, and they probably don't need to hear extra. 'Cause if I'm annoyed by my own doggies tippy tappies, you'll probably be annoyed too. Y'all.
Y'all.
Well, I think we should get into it.
Yeah,
We have some really
we have some good ones.
fun, we have some good ones. We have one from why don't you take it away?
Yeah.
Do your thing.
So we have an exciting story that was brought to us by an Instagram follower named Dana. And he is like, after looking at his profile, doing a little more research on him personally, he's really cool.
Yeah.
Like, so his Instagram bio says that he's hiked 28,852,191 steps, or 21,000 kilometers, to all 3 of Canada's oceans on the Trans-Canada Trail, and he was named top 100 greatest explorers by Canadian Geographic. That's really
It's
cool.
really cool, yeah.
So he goes by The Great Hike on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter. I refuse to call it X.
Yeah, same. No.
So it's Twitter.
Yeah.
It's always been Twitter, always will be Twitter.
I don't know what this X thing is. I'm confused.
Did they get with the new X? They must have gotten rid of Twitter's like little blue bird.
Yeah, they did. It's now an X.
Ugh,
I know.
blech,
Blech. Whatever.
Elon. Blech. Anyway, so this was an exciting one. Dana actually provided us with 3 different stories
Yeah.
that were all equally as amazing and wild, and we may circle back, and I actually
Oh, we're
would really
definitely
like,
gonna I wanna tell all 3 eventually. Yeah.
so this is just one of the 3, and it's called Bison Bestie.
Apparently, he has even more. These are just the tip of the iceberg, this guy. I mean, that many steps? Gonna have some experiences that are out of this world.
So story number 1 is called Bison Bestie. It was a crisp, quiet night in northern British Columbia, just a few kilometers shy of the Yukon border. The kind of night where the world felt untouched, vast, and eerily still. Until it wasn't. I was snug in my tent, drifting in and out of sleep, when a distant, rhythmic thump, thump, thump jolted me awake. My heart pounded as adrenaline surged. What could it be? Bear? Moose? Wolf? The sound grew closer, louder. My pulse quickened, a mixture of fear and curiosity pushing me to investigate. What do you think the noise is, Dave?
I
But
would,
first, like, say you didn't know
yeah, yeah.
anything about the story
Right.
going into it. What would you have thought the noise was on first instinct?
Bigfoot.
Okay,
Definitely Bigfoot.
great.
Thump, thump, thump. Bigfoot, obviously.
Yeah, I would have thought Bigfoot also, but like an actual man variety, like
Big
not,
human.
yeah,
That doesn't work.
like Paul Bunyan.
Paul Bunyan. Well, what about what's that snow one? Yeah.
Sasquatch.
Oh, I was gonna thought it was a Yeti.
No, yeah, you're right.
I think that I
I
think
think
Yetis.
Sasquatch is Bigfoot.
I think you might be. It's like a Bigfoot's
Yeti
cousin.
and the abominables,
Abominable snowman.
abominable,
Abominable.
abominable snowman
Abominable.
are one and the same.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think you're right.
great. So right now we're picturing Sasquatch
Uh,
or Paul Bunyan. So one or the other.
and I'm
Great.
picturing Bigfoot still.
Okay, wonderful. So let's find out what it is.
Yeah.
Fumbling with the zipper, I slowly peeled back the flap of my tent. Standing not 2 feet away, illuminated by the faint moonlight, was a lone bison. Its massive frame towered over me, muscles rippling under its shaggy coat. Its wide, soulful eyes blinked lazily, meeting mine as if to say, "Well, what are you doing here?" I froze, unsure whether to scream, run, or whisper an apology for intruding on its turf. For a brief, surreal moment, I could have reached out and touched it. Instead, I scrambled for my camera, desperate to document this once-in-a-lifetime encounter. My first picture was an unrecognizable blur. It was so close the lens couldn't focus. The bison, unfazed, took a few steps back, as if obliging me for a better shot. I managed to snap another, capturing its serene majesty. I think I would have been shitting myself, Tave.
Yeah, me too, for
That's
sure.
scary because those things are
They're
huge to my
huge.
recollection. Like, I've never seen one up close and personal, but they still look massive.
No, there's a buffalo farm near here, though. I don't know if they're the same size as a bison. Or I've seen a cow. I've seen a really big horse.
That's so funny. That was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
Do you know if bisons are known to be aggressive, or are they like big cows, like you just mentioned?
Honestly, well, okay, so cows can either be aggressive or not aggressive. It's like a milk cow is probably not aggressive, kind of like because they're more domesticated. And but if you get in between a mama and the baby, you could be in trouble. But also, if it's a male, which is a bull, not a cow, then yeah, all bets are off. Some bulls are more aggressive than others. I don't know. You've seen that. What's that thing where they run in the streets? Italy? Spain.
Spain bullfighting?
No, they run in the streets. Matador? I'm just going to say words
I don't
until
think
you
they
tell
run
me.
in the street. Matadors are the ones that do conduct the bullfighting in like rings and stuff like that, stadiums.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
They're one that's with the red cape.
Yeah.
Ferdinand the Bull.
Ferdinand. So Ferdinand the bull, that's cute.
So
But no, they definitely there's a bull thing where they run in the streets. Look it up.
there's street bulls.
Yeah, street bulls. They streak. They streak in the street. I don't think it's a gay parade. Just looked up Bull Street.
Street bulls. There's a movie called Bull Street where a woman faces the battle of her life when her estranged father's family tries to evict her and her grandmother from the only home she has ever
I
known.
don't think that's it. I don't think that's
So
it.
there's charging bull statues. Is that what you're
No,
talking
look
about?
up what city do they have the running of the bulls? So now have you not heard of this before?
No, but I'm gonna look it up right now.
Okay.
The running of the bulls occurs every July 7th to 14th in Pamplona, Spain. 6 Spanish fighting bulls, along with 6 steer, run from the Corrales de Santo Domingo to Pamplona's Plaza de Toros bullfight arena. Over 1 million spectators watch thousands of runners over the 8 days of the San Fermin Festival. 2025 will be an epic festival.
Did you know that not only are the bulls running in the streets, but people are also running in front of them?
Very weird you mentioned that. That's
Oh,
the
thank
next
you.
segment.
Oh my gosh.
We help you run with the bulls.
I don't think they run with them. I think they're running away from them.
Our founder got kicked out on his first bull run. He didn't know the rules, so he spent the last 20 years making sure other people don't suffer the same fate. The best way to have the run of your life is to prepare. We've gathered the world's best runners to help teach you the do's, the don'ts, and the best ways to realize your goal of running with the bulls. Start with our short email series and video. Then consider graduating to our online runners club. There's a runners club for bull running.
God,
Oh my gosh.
I can't. What
That
isn't
is
there a club
funny.
for? Yeah, apparently, you could actually get really hurt, because if you aren't fast enough, the bulls will catch you
Yeah.
with their giant horns in your butt. Ow.
Ow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So then it ends in a bullfight
Okay.
where Pamplona's Plaza de Toros holds 19,700 spectators. Only 1,000 of those tickets go on sale to the general public. The rest belong to season ticket holders. We have the only secondary market for season ticket seats in Pamplona, so you can get guaranteed seats. That's crazy.
That's crazy. What, do you know when it started? I think this is like a centuries old.
Yeah, I think we're getting a little off topic.
A little bit. We're on a tangent.
Yeah. So now we're on this tangent.
Yeah.
And I feel like we should see it through to the end.
Okay.
So the history of bull running is interesting because it's a Spanish tradition that goes back, that began in northeastern Spain and began in early 14th century.
That's crazy.
So cattle herders who wanted to transport their animals from barges or from the countryside into city centers for sale or bullfights needed an easy way to move their precious animals.
Mm. And they still do stuff like that too. When we were in France, they were moving the sheep from the lower pastures that they were for the winter up to the upper pastures for the summer so they could eat the grass up there. And they herded them through the town that we were in.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I went to New Zealand and they were herding sheep through the streets. You
Yeah.
saw that when you were in France.
Yeah, so they still do that in a lot of areas.
Yeah. It's just like bulls that's a little different. Like,
Crazy.
I'd rather run into a herd of sheep than
Yeah.
into a herd of bulls.
Yeah, less pointy.
Yeah.
More fluffy and cute.
Unless they're rams, and then the same problem, just a little smaller.
Just a little, but they're also kind of fluffy and cute.
They're fluffy and cute.
Yeah. All right, well, should we
Anyway,
get back to the story?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. After the impromptu photo session, it seemed content to hang around, lazily munching on grass just a few feet from my tent. I decided if it wasn't alarmed, neither should I be. I brewed myself a cup of coffee, my eyes darting between the steaming mug and the grazing giant. The surreal companionship was oddly comforting, and when it was time to pack up, I half expected it to wander off, but it didn't. As I hoisted my pack and began the day's hike, I noticed movement behind me. The bison was following. At first, I thought it was a coincidence. It was probably just walking in the same direction. But as the minutes stretched into hours, it became clear. This was no coincidence. It trailed me at a slow, deliberate pace, occasionally pausing to graze, but always catching up. I was hiking with a bison. That's insane. I mean, what would be going through your mind, Tave, like if a bison was obviously following you on a trail?
I think that I would definitely have an out of body experience. That sounds so magical, I guess, and also like yeah, like surreal. I don't know. I don't even know. I think I would have an out of body experience, like looking down at myself walking through a beautiful landscape with this like creature following me like a little puppy. Oh,
I've had two experiences like that in my life.
you have
Yeah.
what?
The first was in New Zealand when a pukeko, which is a type of bird,
Uh
that I became obsessed with. I was obsessed with this
huh.
bird. It was weird looking and it was cute and it would follow and play with shoelaces. So
Really?
it would like untie your shoelace, like
Okay.
grab one end of it, pull it, and then like follow behind you like do 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 with your shoelace. And then but that's not a bison, but I'm just saying.
But
Y-
still, very cute.
Yeah.
Just like I think a bison look cute. They look very cute too.
Yes. And then the second one was a deer when I was camping, and it was following me and my friend who was camping with me. I was young. I was like 8 or 9 probably.
Yeah.
And it was just trailing us. It was a buck. And we were like, what should we do? And then it got like really close to us and we were freaked out. And then Mallory, who was my friend at the time, was like, oh, maybe it wants what's in your pocket.
Oh my
And I
god.
looked in my pocket and I had forgotten I had, you know, those tiny um, cardboard containers of cereal.
Oh yeah.
I'd been munching on cornflakes.
And it wanted your
Yeah, so I
cornflakes.
held it out and it ate it out of my hand.
Really? Did it have horns?
Yeah,
How big?
not it was like a young buck.
It was a young buck?
Mhm,
So it had little baby horns?
mhm,
Funny that you mentioned that. I just saw I think it was a reel on Instagram
mhm.
of a sign. Somebody recorded a sign that was posted on a trail and it had a picture of a deer's head on it, like, an alive deer, not like a deer head.
Oh,
It was a picture of a deer, just its little face.
uh-huh.
And it said, if you see him, don't go near him. And then there was the rest of the video was of these people walking on the trail and this little deer's following them. So they didn't listen.
Oh my god.
So I mean, some deer do get domesticated. I've seen it, like
Yeah,
if a
that's not
rescue
great.
deer,
That's
you
not
know.
great.
No, I don't think it's great. And if they do get domesticated, I think it would be best if they went to like a sanctuary, which I know they do have deer sanctuaries.
Yeah. Again, we digress.
We digress. We love digressing. It's fun. I hope you all have fun with us.
Yeah. It's just now the listeners will have forgotten what this it's about bison,
Not deer or cows or bulls
bulls.
or birds.
It is about bison, I repeat.
Bison Bestie.
Back to the original story.
Okay, go.
At one of my rest stops, I turned to see it lumbering toward me. It stopped just a few meters away, lowered itself onto the ground, and rested. I couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity. All right, buddy, I said. Guess we're in this together. By now, I'd named him Leon.
Aw,
That's cute.
Leon.
There was something regal and timeless about him, a calm presence that made me feel less alone in the wilderness. By late afternoon, I decided to call it an early day and pitch my tent. Leon settled nearby, chewing contentedly. As the stars emerged overhead, I found myself chatting with him like an old friend. You know, I said aloud, you're probably the best hiking buddy I've ever had. He blinked slowly as if agreeing.
I bet he thinks he's the best hiking buddy because he doesn't talk back or be annoying, like some people.
I was going to say, can you be the best hiking buddy?
Yeah.
And for those same reasons.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That night, however, brought an unwelcome reminder of how wild the wilderness truly is. It started with a distant howl, haunting and melodic. Then another, closer this time. A pack of wolves. My pulse quickened as their cries echoed through the darkness, circling closer and closer. I stayed awake, clutching my bear spray and knife, every rustle outside amplifying my fear. Leon, however, seemed unbothered. I peeked out of the tent at one point to see him lying nearby, his massive frame a reassuring silhouette against the pale moonlight. Somehow, his presence made me feel safer, even as the wolves' howls continued through the night. By dawn, the howls had faded, replaced by the soft hum of morning. I emerged from my tent to find Leon still there, peacefully dozing just a few feet away. He blinked at me lazily as I packed up, his calm demeanor an anchor for my frayed nerves. Aw, he's like an emotional support bison. That's so cute.
It's so cute.
Orion has his emotional support pumpkin. Dana has his emotional support bison.
Named Leon.
That's cute.
Yeah.
But as we'll discuss after the story, there are some things that you need to be mindful of when interacting with creatures such as Leon.
Yeah.
Which, so far, Dana's not doing anything.
No. Not at all.
He's not feeding him. He's not,
trying to
hug him.
hug him. Yeah.
Don't hug him, buddy. Just don't hug him.
He's a 6 feet. He's like an emotional support bison during
From
COVID.
a distance. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Okay. As the days went on, Leon became a constant companion. He'd trail me during the day, pausing when I did, grazing when I stopped to rest. I adjusted my pace to match his, savoring the unexpected bond we'd formed. I never forgot, though, that he was a wild animal. I kept my distance, respected his space, and stayed alert. But there was a mutual understanding between us. We weren't threats to one another. The only danger was the wolves, whose presence lingered like a shadow. I often caught glimpses of them in the distance, their yellow eyes watching, waiting. But they never came too close, deterred perhaps by Leon's formidable presence. Eventually, we reached a river, the water icy and intimidating. I waded in, expecting Leon to follow, but he stopped at the edge, pawing at the ground. He wouldn't cross. I tried coaxing him, but he stood firm, his massive head swinging side to side. It was clear this was where our paths diverged. I hesitated, reluctant to leave him, but I knew I had to press on. With a heavy heart, I waved goodbye, my voice cracking as I said, "Take care of yourself, Leon." As I crossed the river, I glanced back to see him standing on the bank, watching me with those deep, unblinking eyes. That's so sad.
So sad.
No, I mean, I would have such a hard time leaving. Would you?
Yes. It would be very difficult. I don't know. I mean, me as a wild animal, but also they had this really wonderful bonding experience for days. It wasn't just like a day.
Yeah, and also now he's going to be by himself, and like that's got to be, I don't know, like it must have been nice to have somebody, even if it was an animal.
Oh, I was thinking that Leon had. Oh, I thought you meant that Leon was going to have to be all by himself now.
Oh, yeah, no. I meant Dana.
And that was going to make me really sad.
Yeah. Both are sad.
Well, because they're herd animals. And now he doesn't have a herd to be with because Dana was his herd.
Yeah. It is a little sad. But I think that during certain seasons, from what I recall, bisons do tend to branch off. They are herd animals by nature, but during mating season, they tend to become solo so that they can go find a mate. So I think
Dana was his mate.
Yeah, it was a courting ritual.
A courting ritual.
A mighty fine lady bison, aka Dana. Just kidding.
That's funny.
Yeah. Anyway, for days after, I felt his absence keenly. The trail felt emptier, lonelier, but I also felt grateful. Grateful for the strange, beautiful connection we'd shared and the lessons it had taught me about respect, coexistence, and the quiet ways nature can heal. Leon reminded me that sometimes, even in the most unexpected places, companionship finds us. And when it does, it changes us. That was a really nice story.
I loved that story. That was very beautiful and wild.
Right. And that was wild.
Yeah.
In all the best ways possible. Dana also gave us 2 other great stories.
Yeah.
This was only one of 3, and they were all animal related. And we are definitely going to circle back and do more of those.
Yeah, we're definitely going to hit
down the
all 3.
line.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I thank Dana for sharing that wonderful experience with us because I was happy to have heard it secondhand. And I think everyone else is going to be happy to have heard it third hand now. Is that how that works?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Sure.
Sure?
Okay.
Question mark?
Question mark. But I think that you had planned a little accoutrement to share with our listeners.
Entrez-vous? That's
No.
not that. I don't know why I said that.
No.
Anyway, yes, I did because, and this is actually going to be a little longer of a segment, but I think it's necessary and very much interesting for our listeners to hear about. I mean, this story really inspired me personally because obviously this bison had very human-like tendencies where it, was felt comfortable with Dana enough to sleep next to,
Yeah.
follow, and accompany through many miles, I would imagine.
Days
For
of
days.
miles.
Yeah. And that's really interesting to me. And so it made me want to research a little more about the history between humans and bison in general, because obviously they're really interesting creatures. I also have been reading this book recently called Rooted, and it talks a lot about how animals do have a lot more empathy, human-like qualities that we only place onto ourselves as humans, but that animals are far more emotionally intelligent than we give them credit for.
I think that an animal person has a better understanding of that,
Yeah,
of like our domesticated pets, but I think it's more to the fact of also undomesticated animals have that same level of emotional
understanding,
intelligence.
intelligence.
Yeah, emotional intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Then we give them credit for. Well said.
Yeah, I'm gonna sip my tea for a second.
Sip
I'm
your
getting a little
tea.
parched.
Oh, tea. Don't burn your tongue. Yeah, did it.
Okay, so I'm gonna get into it.
Okay.
After hearing Dana's unforgettable experience with Leon the Bison, I couldn't help but reflect on the broader context of bison and humans. Bison aren't just a random wildlife encounter, they're deeply connected to both the history of North America and our current relationship with wildlife. Dana's peaceful experience with Leon might seem like an anomaly. Damn it.
Anemone.
Dana's peaceful experience with Leon might seem like an anomaly, but it's part of a long, complicated story between humans and these majestic animals. Historically, bison were essential to the livelihood and culture of many indigenous peoples, especially across the Great Plains. The bison provided food, clothing, tools, and spiritual significance. However, in the 19th century, European settlers, driven by the expansion of the railroad and the demand for bison hides, nearly drove bison to extinction. At one point, fewer than 1,000 wild bison remained. The US government even deliberately participated in the destruction of bison populations as part of their effort to suppress Native American tribes, understanding that if they wiped out the bison, they could decimate the indigenous way of life. According to the National Park Service, the slaughter of the bison was considered one of the most effective means of forcing Native Americans onto reservations. This was a turning point, and the decimation of bison populations had a profound effect on the ecosystem and the people who relied on them.
That's really sad
Yeah.
and messed up. I don't like that they did that. They did a lot of other horrible things to the indigenous people. That's just another one they can add to their bucket of awfulness.
Yeah. But the bison story didn't end there. Thanks to concerted conservation efforts in the 20th and 21st centuries, bison populations have made a remarkable recovery. Now there are over 500,000 bison across North America, although most of them are in managed herds, either on ranches or in protected areas. The National Bison Association, which I didn't know existed
Me
until
neither.
this research,
Yeah.
explains that bison are part of a broader ecosystem restoration story, where their presence helps maintain grassland habitats and support other wildlife species. This rebounding population is largely due to bison restoration projects and conservation programs, like the one in Yellowstone National Park. But here's where it gets interesting. Despite their recovery, bison are still wild animals. The U.S. Forest Service has emphasized that bison are not domesticated and that they can be unpredictable. While they're not naturally aggressive, their size, strength, and territorial instincts can make them dangerous when they feel threatened or cornered. In fact, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention warns that bison cause more injuries than any other animal in Yellowstone National Park. The main cause of these injuries is people getting too close or failing to recognize when an animal feels threatened. As the CDC states, bison can run up to 35 miles per hour and leap 6 feet into the air.
Wow, they're really spry.
Yeah, that's taller than an average human.
That's crazy. Yeah, he could jump right over you
That's
by like a foot.
as short.
He's short.
As short. That's a lot of power packed into an animal that, as Dana saw with Leon, might appear calm and docile. The fact that Dana respected Leon's space, never encroaching on his personal territory, is a perfect example of how to safely coexist with wild animals. Despite the challenges of managing a wild species that once nearly vanished, programs in parks like Yellowstone have been able to balance human presence in bison populations through guidelines and regulations that help ensure safe interactions. However, this balance is delicate, and with the increasing number of tourists in national parks, there's been growing concern over wildlife safety. A report from the Associated Press covered this shift in attitudes, noting that the increase in visitors to parks like Yellowstone has led to more interactions between tourists and wildlife, and not all of them are peaceful. Keeping a safe distance from bison is critical to ensuring both the safety of humans and the well-being of the animals. So I think Dana's story with Leon can teach us a few things.
Yeah.
It's a reminder of how resilient bison are and how far we've come in conserving the species. Second, it underscores the importance of respecting wild animals and giving them space, even if they seem calm. Finally, it's an example of how wildlife can still play a profound role in our lives, even in unexpected ways. It also makes you think, about the future of that kind of animal and other animals that share human spaces.
Yeah.
Or rather, we share their spaces.
Yeah, they were here before us.
Yeah. How do you think we can better educate people on the importance of respecting wild animals in their natural habitats, especially when they're so often perceived as tame or safe when they're not actively threatening us? Because as we continue to see more bison and other wild animals in national parks and the wilderness areas, it's essential we remember they're wild for a reason.
Yeah. That answers a lot of questions that I had throughout the story of it was the bison a danger to Dana at all? And it seems like potentially, but because Dana was respectful and, you know, kind of coexisted with this animal. It was a beautiful experience instead of something that could have been not beautiful.
Yeah, I think respect is the key word there because
can we all just respect each other too?
Yeah.
I think that is a good lesson for everybody, not just for animals in the wild, but animals you see on the streets every day,
Right.
called humans.
Yeah, and some days I feel like we're more animal than animals.
And I don't know if it's going to get any better right now, but we shall see what will happen in the next 4 years. Who knows? I'm nervous. Wish I was a bison. Do you wish you were a bison?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think some days you are.
I'm a bison?
Some
Yay.
days. Yeah. A wildebeest.
My wish was a wildebeest.
In the morning, you're a wildebeest before you've had your tea.
Yeah. I'm a sloth. So.
Yeah. You're a sleepy sloth.
A sleepy sloth. Well, thank you for giving us some little education on these magical, wonderful creatures.
You're welcome.
I really liked that story, and I really liked your little accoutrement. Oh, oui, oui. You're welcome.
Oui, oui.
Oui, oui. Thank you. Merci.
What's the next story, Dave?
Okay. So, our next story is called Forest Rebellion. Can you imagine what this story is about? Just from the name.
Trees forming a picket line and protesting a JCPenney closing.
A JCPenney closing?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Was I right?
You were so close.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's get so far.
Okay. Let's see.
All
if
right.
my vision materializes.
Okay. I'm going to take you on a journey. Are you ready for this?
A journey?
A journey.
An adventure
An
journey?
adventure journey.
Okay. Through the forest?
Through something. Imagine this. I was 16, full of teenage rebellion, big dreams, and absolutely no survival skills. My boyfriend and I decided we were going to live our best into the wild lives, packing up and trekking into the mountains with all the confidence of two kids who had watched one too many outdoor adventure movies. Have you ever read Into the Wild or seen the movie?
No, actually. It's sitting on my shelf on my to be read pile.
Mm-hmm.
Well, to be read shelf.
To be read shelf?
Yeah. But I've seen the movie, and sometimes when I see the movie first, it makes me not as inclined to read the book, which is sad because the book is usually better than the movie.
Yeah.
Same thing with Wild, actually. Remember Wild?
Yes. Yes.
Cheryl Strayed.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the movie first, and then I did end up going back and reading it because I liked the movie and wanted to know more about her story, but it made me less inclined
Yeah.
to do so. Yeah.
I get that. I always try to watch I'm sorry. I always try to read the book first.
Yeah.
And the book's always better.
It is always better.
So
But that was a sad movie.
yeah, it was a sad book too.
Yeah.
I read it when it came out like years ago. Years and years. I think I was a teenager.
You read it or watched it?
I read it. They didn't have a movie back then.
You read the book?
Yeah.
You read a book?
Yes.
Which one?
I'm gonna murder you in your sleep. Yes, I did. I read the book, and then I don't know if I've seen the movie. Did we watch the movie together?
No, we should know though.
Yeah. Right now, we should pause the podcast and watch the movie.
Yeah.
Or should we watch the movie on the podcast?
No, I think we should get back to them in a couple hours. Wait.
Okay.
All right. Welcome back to Fall Summit.
You're ridiculous. That was a long break. We didn't actually break. Okay. Our brilliant plan, stay as long as we could. The reality, 15 days. That's how long it took for the mountain to chew us up and spit us out like a bad snack. The first few days were incredible. Think marshmallows over the fire, stars so bright they felt fake, and the smug satisfaction of believing we were rugged pioneers. We were invincible, or so we thought. This sounds like the way a teenager would view an adventure.
Yeah.
What do you think they're in for?
Well, I was thinking the same thing. I mean, it sounds like a pretty young perspective. Nothing wrong with that. Just
disregard for one's own safety. Do they have the right equipment? Like how educated in survival are they? Can they start a fire with just 2 sticks and a string?
I think the answer is probably no.
Can you?
No.
Me neither.
Some people on Naked and Afraid can't even do it.
Yeah, I know.
Like, how do you not go into that show knowing how to at least start a fire?
Well, I think that they can at home with this with certain supply, but I think that some of the situations, it's like everything's too wet. They don't have the right type of wood because there's certain woods that catch fire more easily. You have to have a soft wood and you have to have a hard wood. And you can either do like the bowstring method where you know, pull it back and forth and it's like tied on like a bowed piece of wood and there's a string and it's wrapped around a little stick. There's like, it's like pressure. And then there's the hand drill method where you, same idea, but instead of using a string to make the stick go in circles,
you're just using friction.
You're using friction with your hand going. Either one sounds awful. Either one, I'd rather have a fire starter or matches.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not matches. Those will run out. Fire starter. I go fire starter. Do you think they have matches or a lighter?
I hope so. I bet they did. I bet they packed at least like a lighter, but then the lighter is going to run out of fluid. Yeah. I bet they packed at least a thing of matches, but the matches are going to run out. So like, I feel like they probably took the bare necessities of like what they thought might be needed for an excursion like this, but like not wildly underestimating what they actually need.
Yeah. Well, I think they probably definitely brought a lighter to light their joints.
That's Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the vibe.
because you gotta get stoned in the woods, in the dark, in the night. Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
All right. But by day 6, the vibe started to shift. It began with that nagging feeling that you're not alone, like someone or something is watching. The kind of feeling that makes your skin crawl and has you whipping around every 5 minutes, like you're auditioning for Paranormal Activity 10th edition. Ah, I totally get that. Have you ever seen those movies?
No, you laughed, and I was kind of just laughing along with you because I didn't really get the reference.
The Paranormal
I've heard,
Activity 10th edition?
yeah,
Wait, you've never seen the Paranormal Activity movies?
probably have. I think I watched one at a sleepover one time, and it was all right.
Oh
Like,
my
that
God.
kind of stuff isn't scary to me. Like
But
that
when those
Blair
movies,
Witch Project, not scary to me.
Blair Witch Project, I would agree that wasn't really scary. But when the Paranormal Activity movies came out, it was during a time when they didn't have a lot of movies like that out yet.
Hmm.
And it was, I would say it was not the first of its kind, but I would say it was in the runnings of, I had never seen a movie like that prior.
Hmm.
And they had done a really good job, and it was freaky, and it was Blair Witch. It was Blair Witch like vibe because they used the cameras as like their only point of
Visual.
visual.
Hmm.
Thank you. But very different. After that, it's very different because it's not in the woods; it's in a house, and we need to watch that movie. From you can watch it from my eyeballs. I'll take them out and give them to you.
Hmm.
Then you'll see what I see.
Yeah, maybe it's because I don't really supernatural stuff just doesn't really freak me out that much.
Smile freaked you out. That was supernatural. We just talked about that.
Yeah, but it wasn't the supernatural part that freaked me out. It was the psychological element to it.
Oh, okay.
Like it was her deterioration, mental deterioration that freaked me out. And versus like what was the supernatural part that
Yeah.
didn't scare me.
Okay. So probably decades ago when the blob came out, it was really scary to people.
Wizard of Oz was scary to people because
Yeah.
of the flying monkeys.
Because of the times, because they weren't exposed as much. I think maybe now because we've been exposed to more, there it's not as scary, but you
I
know,
also just think I can convince any ghost
to be
that
your friend.
yes, because I'm a likable human and I'm not going to cause you any harm or you know, I might not save your soul either, but I will be a friend to you.
So every ghost is a potential Casper.
Yes.
Rock the Casbah, rock the Casbah.
Unless they're murderous ghosts.
Oh, murder ghosts. Yeah. We don't like murder ghosts, just happy ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Okay.
So we told ourselves it was just our minds playing tricks on us. Maybe the isolation getting to us. But as the day passed, that eerie sensation got worse. Every shadow felt darker. Every rustle in the bushes sounded closer. We were out there convincing ourselves we were fine, but deep down, we knew we were not fine. Then came the stream incident. One day we decided to follow a stream because exploring sounded like a great distraction from our creeping dread. It started out fun, frolicking like deer, hopping from rock to slippery rock, daring each other not to fall in. But the further we went, the more off track we got. Soon the landscape forced us away from the stream, and we started tying bandanas and random accessories to trees, pretending that that would help us to not get lost. Spoiler, it didn't. Eventually, we found ourselves in a clearing, a perfect little circle, maybe 100 feet across. It felt wrong. Not wrong like, oops, we took the wrong turn, but wrong like, we should not be here. And every molecule in my body knows it. We both froze at the same time, locking eyes with that unspoken look of sheer terror that only happens when you're too scared to talk. Have you ever had that feeling before, like down in your gut?
Yeah, when I was exploring this abandoned college called Bennett College,
Mm.
near where I grew up, um, there was this one section where you could either go upstairs or downstairs. There was a set of stairs, but they were like rotting away, so you
Oh
couldn't
my God.
safely do either. And then like you kept going through this corridor, and there was this like empty room. Maybe it looked like it might have been a classroom of some kind, but it gave me that feeling.
So you were upstairs in the building? You weren't worried about falling through?
No.
No. This was the all-girls college that you told me about, right?
Mm-hmm.
They tore that down, I believe.
They've been talking about tearing it down for years.
But I think they did. I think we drove past it recently and you were like, "Oh my God, they tore it down." Did that happen or was that a dream? Could have been a dream. You can look it up. Well, I know that they have some videos online that you can look up because you showed me some and the inside was crazy looking, like most abandoned buildings, but I've never seen an abandoned college before.
Yeah, it did get demolished.
In 2022, it was demolished. Thank you for looking that up. The Bennett College.
The property was cleared to make way for a 32-acre park and community center.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's cool. I wonder when that's going to open up.
Yeah, but that's a piece of history lost.
Yeah, but it was a rotting old building lost. I mean, it would have been one thing if it was like in good condition, but like you said, it was rotting.
Yeah, but they should have taken steps to preserve it way before then.
Oh, well, yeah, no, I agree.
That's crazy.
It's sad that an all.
It's still called Bennett Park.
Oh, there you go. They preserved the name. Oh, it looks pretty.
It will honor the history of Bennett College, Museum and Visitor Center, and it will offer an outdoor venue for a variety of performing arts, educational, and civic events.
Well, it's serving a purpose. Before it was a rotting building for people and teenagers, obviously, to go and uh, cause havoc and be in danger. And now it's going to be this beautiful center for all sorts of folks. I don't know. They closed down an all women's college, probably because it was an all women's college. you know,
Yeah, because it probably didn't have enough
just
enrollment.
or yeah. No, I was going to say not enough testosterone.
Not the correct amount of testosterone was
yeah.
there.
We're gonna have to go check this out. Take Orion there. He would love it. I wonder if your mom's been there yet. She definitely knows about it. She knows about everything. She knows about anything and everything that has to do with this kind of stuff, conservation-y stuff.
Okay.
Oh, side note, let's tell the listeners about the fact that your dad was named after a park. Nope, that's not the right thing.
My dad was named after a park?
Really? A park was dedicated to your dad and is named after him.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah. There's this. Well, for the listeners that don't know, my dad passed away suddenly from a heart attack. Sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Take your time.
But he had been an environmental scientist for many, many years throughout a majority of his career. And he had recently retired, but was still doing projects and grant work for the Carey Institute, which was in Millbrook. And also did a lot of projects with the CAC. So he had a lot of community involvement and had been on the town council and various things. So I had a lot of connections within the area. And Sanfordville, which is close to where I grew up, decided to dedicate a preserve in his name after he passed away. And it is now called the Gary M. Lovett Preserve, which is really cool.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud that the town, did that for him.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at, you remember when the sign was put up?
Mm-hmm.
We went there with my mom and Moko.
Yeah.
Moko is my mom's dog, border collie. And there's a picture of Tave, myself, my mom, and Moko in front of the Gary M. Lovett Wildlife Preserve sign that was put up. And it was a lot bigger than I had thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it's a great honor. It's a great honor for a really great human. Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Should I continue?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then it hit. A deafening roar tore through the air, the kind of sound that makes your stomach drop and your soul leave your body. The ground shook, trees quivered, and the roar kept going. I looked around, desperate to see whatever was making the sound, but panic blurred my vision. All I could process was my boyfriend standing frozen like a deer in headlights. When the roar finally stopped, we didn't run, we didn't scream, we didn't even look at each other. We just turned and walked back to camp in complete, eerie silence, like two sleepwalkers trying not to wake up. Not a word was spoken the whole way back. Nothing. We were too scared to process it. I think that once I got out of there, I wouldn't be able to stop talking to try to calm my nerves. I don't know if I could be, I don't know if I'd be silent.
Yeah, and if you were with me, there'd be issues because I would be like, listeners can't see me, but I'm like doing the
You're
shush movement.
shushing.
Like, because I don't know, like, why would, no, don't draw more attention to yourself. Stop talking.
I don't
Just be
know.
quiet,
Just be quiet.
please.
No, I'd be like, what do you think that was?
Yeah,
What the hell is happening?
you'd be
We
talking a
need to,
mile a minute.
yeah, and also like we need to get back to camp, get our shit, and get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
Like,
you'd be going
no.
over probably steps on like
No,
what we're
thank
doing.
you. Goodbye. Goodbye. No, thank you. See you later. No. I don't think these crazy kids do that though.
Doesn't seem to me like that's going to be
No.
the next course of
Because
action.
we still have more story.
Okay.
Back at camp, the nightmare continued. The tent zipper was completely undone. Our belongings were rifled through, and my books were missing. Some food was opened but not eaten, which somehow felt more sinister, and our clothes were unfolded in a pile.
Right, because if it had been eaten, then it would be an animal or something like
Correct.
that. That's
That's
weird.
really weird.
Okay, go ahead.
Despite every horror movie instinct screaming at us to leave, we stayed. Why? Because teenage logic dictates that when you're terrified, you'll double down on your bad decisions. That sounds
About right.
accurate.
Yeah.
We spent the night lying awake in the tent, flinching at every sound, convinced that the forest was alive and out to get us. Get out is what I suggest.
Yeah.
Get out now. I've already said this once. I say it twice. 3 times for good measure.
Get out.
Get out. Like
For-
the movie.
That's
I
what I was.
love that movie.
Okay, so my favorite scene in this movie is when, and there's a lot of them because
Yeah,
this movie's
it's so
great,
good.
but he is at the party of his girlfriend's parents,
Mhm.
and they have all these rich friends over partying,
Yeah.
you know?
Partying. Got it.
But it's like a patio party, so they're like out on the patio.
They're partying at a patio party?
Yeah, it's an infamous patio party. Don't you know that? Don't you know those?
Yeah.
They're famous.
Famous.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And then this other, so he's like one of the only black people there.
Right.
That's kind of the whole gist of
Yeah.
they're
The
a white
get out.
family. But then another black male appears with a white woman. So
Right.
he is the white woman's date,
Husband,
companion, whatever.
Yeah.
And they're all like taking pictures or whatever. And then he's a photographer.
Right.
And then he snaps a picture of them.
Right.
And the flash triggers something in this black man.
Oh,
And all of a
yeah.
sudden there's like this look in his eye that is,
Yeah.
I can't even describe it, but it is like realization. It's like awakening. It's like scared, angry, crazed, like all encapsulated into one look.
Like
And
yeah.
and then he turns to the guy and starts going at him, the photographer, the
Yeah.
other black man, going at him and says, "Get out.
Yeah.
Get out." And it's like it's just so
Spine
scary.
tingling.
Yeah, like whole body can't use that.
No, you can't use full body chills. You can use whole body chills.
Whole body chills.
Yeah.
There's nothing full about those chills. It's
but
whole
also, I
body.
don't think they have full body chills is not trademarked.
It probably is. At
We
this
should
point.
find out.
Okay.
But I think I could watch that movie multiple times.
We have.
I know we've already watched it a few times, but I think I could like so that's just one of those movies that you could watch again and again and like find new meaning, find new scenes that you don't remember from the last time you watched it. Like it's just so well done.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. All right. I don't think they get out.
They don't get out?
I don't think they leave.
Oh my, what do you mean? They're there? Their
They're
bones are
still
there?
there. No,
What?
no, I don't. They stay for 3 more days. The next few days were a slow spiral of mounting dread. Every time we ventured out, we felt watched. Every time we sat still, the silence felt heavier. By day 15, we had had enough. There was no grand decision, no heroic plan to reclaim our sense of adventure. We just snapped. We left the tent, the food, the clothes, the supplies, everything. We didn't even try to pack up. We bolted down the mountain as fast as we could without running, the weight of the forest pressing down on us. By the time we reached the bottom, it was pitch black. The cicadas were screaming like an orchestra of chaos, and we swore something was following us all the way to the road. They just left all their stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's really silly. Why would they just leave all their stuff?
Maybe so it'd be quicker to make an escape, or
Yeah, but they were there for days after the
that's true.
initial weird
Or maybe like
encounter.
their tension has been building up, like they feel like they need to get out like now.
It would take how long would it take to just pack your little bags, leave like a normal person, not like a crazy person? But the stupidity didn't stop there. About a week later, we decided we had to go back for our stuff. Why? Because leaving it behind didn't feel practical. And going back feels practical?
It's not really the most practical, I would say. It's probably
No, at this point, it's just
low on
like
the list of practicality.
cut your losses.
For real.
No. So at 6 a.m., we headed back up, hoping for a quick in and out retrieval mission. When we got there, it was like a scene from a post apocalyptic movie. The tent wasn't just knocked over, it was shredded. Not torn, not ripped, shredded into dozens of pieces. Our supplies were strewn everywhere, and while some part of me wanted to blame a bear, nothing about it felt natural. The sheer violence of it was deliberate. Standing there in the ruins of our failed adventure, we finally got the message loud and clear. The mountain did not want us here, and honestly, I don't blame it. The end. This story really hit home for me in a lot of ways. It's easy to romanticize the idea of into the wild adventures like they did, but the reality of being out there, fully exposed and at the mercy of nature, can be a lot different. The wilderness doesn't care about your plans, your skills, or your competence. It's unforgiving. The eerie feeling they had, like being watched, is something I think everyone who spent time alone in the wild has felt at least once. And that roar, that's the kind of fear that can shake you to your core. What really stood out to me, though, was how they still went back to the campsite to retrieve their stuff. I mean, after everything that had happened, I would have been out of there so fast, I'd have left my shoes behind just to get away. But I get why they did it. There's that drive, that need to make things right, or at least take something back with you. But when they found the tent shredded, it was like the mountain had made its decision for them. It wasn't just a bear or some random wildlife. It felt deliberate, like the forest itself was telling them they didn't belong. This story serves as a reminder. The wilderness is beautiful, but it's not there to cater to us. It's bigger than we are. It's humbling. Nature doesn't owe us a thing, and sometimes it can make us realize that in the most terrifying ways.
I thought it was a really good story.
I I thought it was bananas.
Yeah, it was bananas. Like, what was that force? What happened?
Yeah,
Why was their tent in dozens of pieces? Not just a dozen pieces, which is 12. Dozens of pieces.
Was it a baker's dozen?
Who knows?
Was it multiple baker's dozens?
I pictured that.
Do you know how many are in a baker's dozen?
6,
No.
36,
No.
24,
No.
13.
Yes.
Because there's an extra one.
Because there's an extra one.
Just in case that they make a mistake.
Yeah, but isn't that unlucky then?
No, I always thought 13 was very lucky.
Really? But
Yeah,
everyone's
lucky
always...
number 13.
No one's ever said that.
Oh, I created a new thing. New trend.
No.
Lucky number 13.
Haven't you ever heard of like the 13th floor?
Yes.
It's not in buildings that people did not build a 13th floor.
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
But you're just backwards banana crazy pants, just like these two kids.
Yeah. I would do that.
You would go into the wild with almost no preparation, thinking you're in a book or a movie.
Knowing how I romanticize things, maybe.
Yeah,
I might just read a passage of a book one day and be like, okay, bye.
Or maybe buy a bus online randomly so that we can transform it into a living space.
Sidebar. If anyone in the New York area vicinity, any listeners are interested in a decent condition bus, it has a little rust on it, but other than that, you know,
it's a diesel.
It's a diesel. It's got a engine that will last a lifetime. Hit us up.
Let us know. We got as far as stripping it out and then had other things we had to focus on.
All right. So yeah, that story was crazy.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I think that I don't think they should have gone back for their stuff, but I think it is great for the story that they did. So thank you for going back.
Right. There would have been no story without that poor decision.
To go back and get their stuff. Yeah. I think there still would have been a story. I just think that it wouldn't have. I think that kind of rounded it out nicely, finding their belongings all like crazy and everywhere.
Yeah, for sure.
That's crazy. Well, I'm glad that they were not eaten by the forest. And they made it out okay. And maybe a little wiser.
They survive.
Maybe a little wiser.
I'm going
to get her. I don't know.
I don't know.
Do you think they made it out a little wiser, though?
I think no. I think that now that they're telling the story, they're both, they've since broken up.
I think they're adults telling the story now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're together anymore. Teenage
romance is hard. I think the most people don't stay with their teenage loves or whatever. I mean, I know a few people that met their spouses in high school, but most don't.
Yeah.
College.
But I know what's coming next.
What?
Trail mix.
Are you ready for our next segment, Em?
Yes.
What is it? I forget.
Trail mix.
Yay, trail mix. All right, let's do it.
Let's get into it.
Yay.
First up on Trail Mix today is Intro by the XX. This track feels like it was made for the trail. No lyrics, just pure atmospheric sound that pulls you in. It's got this steady pulsing rhythm that feels like walking through a forest as the light shifts through the trees. Tave, I know you haven't heard this one, at least by name. Like you'd recognize it, but you don't know what it is off the top of your head, right?
No, probably not.
Okay. So I'm curious, if you had to imagine what kind of moment or mood this song fits based on just the title.
Yeah.
What would it be?
That's a great question. I would picture being in the forest, tripping on shrooms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. A pleasant experience.
Pleasant experience, like a good trip.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where everything kind of feels lighter and like smoother, but maybe not like, so you're not in like a heavy trip. You're just in like a light trip. Like when, like you made
microdosing,
like maybe a little bit more than that. Like you made like a nice mushroom tea and sipped on your mushroom tea. And now
it's just starting to hit.
It's like a good high. Yeah. Almost like it's because it's almost like smoking weed, I think. For me, it's similar feelings. Similar experience.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, it's like the perfect soundtrack for those in-between moments. So the early morning before anyone's awake, or the stretch of trail when you're finally alone with your thoughts.
That's nice.
Yeah. So this song doesn't have any lyrics, actually. It's just instrumentation.
Oh, that's nice. Even better.
So do you think a song needs lyrics to really connect with you, or can something like this, just pure instrumental, still hit you on an emotional level?
Oh, absolutely not. You don't necessarily need words. Sometimes if it's a really good artist
Uh-huh.
who can really express themselves through their instrument, you can hear the intention, the feeling without the words. You don't even need the words. It's like,
For sure.
it's kind of like when you have like a best friend or a partner or somebody that you know really well, it just gets you. You just get the music. The music just gets you.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Next up on Trail Mix is Holiest by Glass Animals and Tai Shi. This track has a mesmerizing layered vibe, almost like stepping into a dream. The rhythm feels alive. And Tai Shi's vocals float over everything like they're barely tethered to the ground. Tave,
Yes.
when you hear music like this, does it ever make you think about the moods or emotions of certain trails you've hiked
Um,
or
yeah.
places you've been, I guess,
Yeah.
in a broader
No,
term?
I tend to like to listen to music when I'm doing exercisey type things. So riding my horse, at the gym, on a hike. And often if I hear that music in another place, I will then it'll bring me back to that moment. And usually when you're doing some type of exercise, you're releasing endorphins and it makes you feel good. Associate with that good feeling.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, this song feels like Twilight.
Like
Not the
the
movie.
movie?
No,
Like the book?
not like vampires. Twilight, as in the daytime,
Yeah.
like the kind of moment where you're standing at the edge of something vast and mysterious. It's not quite day or night, and everything feels suspended. So that's how that song makes me feel.
That's nice. I like
Okay.
that for you.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about a song I've been hooked on lately, which is California Girls by Nombi. Nombi.
Nombi. Not
Nombi.
yes be, but Nombi.
Nombi. Nombi.
So stupid.
So this song has the sun-soaked, laid-back energy, but there's also something deeper going on, like it's carefree on the surface, but with a bit of tension underneath. You know how some places just have that vibe that feels layered, like there's more than you see at first glance?
Yeah, places with history.
Yeah. Do you think music can capture that same kind of feeling?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. For me, this track reminds me of the duality of the outdoors. Like when you're on a hike with gorgeous views, but there's also that undercurrent of challenge. Maybe the climb's harder than you expected, or there's a storm rolling in. Do you think it's that kind of complexity in music or nature that keeps us coming back for more?
I definitely think it's that complexity. Humans are always looking for something deeper, something more, like a stronger connection, a deeper connection. So yeah, no, I can see that.
That's it.
That's it for Trail Mix.
That's it for Trail
Well,
Mix. That's all she wrote.
thank you for another
That's all
wonderful.
they wrote.
That's all they wrote.
My pronouns are they, them.
Yes, thank you for reiterating.
And what are yours?
My pronouns are she, her, and yeah.
Did you say she, her, and God?
Yeah, no.
Oh.
I'm not the mystic, you are.
Oh, yeah. She, her, and master.
Yeah.
I'm master, actually.
Nay, I master.
Aye, aye, Kevin.
Oh, you're captain.
I can hear you. Aye, aye, Kevin.
Thank you.
Who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Porous and yellow and something. Who's orange and yellow and porous is he? SpongeBob SquarePants.
Where is he?
Jump
orange?
on the deck and blub like a fish. SpongeBob SquarePants.
He's only yellow. So
Yeah.
when is he orange?
Okay, go.
He could be orange. It could be porous.
It's porous.
You said porous, and then you were like
Orange and something, and porous is he.
Oh,
That's
right.
how it goes.
All right, it's that time. Trail etiquette and other shit. Whoop whoop. Again, today we are having an other shit segment of trail etiquette and other shit. We are going to talk about trail snacks.
Like trail mix?
Like trail mix.
But without the songs, singing, and dancing?
Yes.
Just the trail mix.
Just the trail
with
mix.
raisins, peanuts, M&Ms.
Yes. Well, we'll find out. What's your favorite trail snack?
Probably apples and cheese.
Apples and cheese. Yes. Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about what's the healthiest snack that you can bring that will give you the most energy, because there is a lot of snacks out there you
Mhm.
might think to bring on a hike. It could be a day hike. It could be a day hike. We've talked about this. A day hike can consist of several hours, a couple of hours, all day long. Whatever you interpret as a day hike is what you want to do. You want to make sure that you pack accordingly so that you have the right amount of energy so you don't need to take a nap.
Why are you looking at me?
Because you just always need to take a nap.
Yeah, I think I have an iron deficiency.
You definitely do.
Or high cortisol or low cortisol. I don't remember which it is, but one of those can lead to those kind of things.
Also, some people are more prone to nappies, napping.
Yeah, but it's not normal to be tired to the point where I need to take a nap. Like,
That's true.
I could feel like, oh, I could use a nap right now. Like, that would be
Yeah.
nice. But like, not, I need one to function.
I don't like taking naps. If I take a nap, I'm asleep for hours, and then I won't be able to sleep at night.
Yeah, maybe that's my problem, is that I'm getting in a pattern of doing that.
Probably.
Yeah.
You should stop napping. Yes, stop napping.
I will not.
Please stop napping, and then we can hang out all day.
Ooh, you did enough.
No.
Okay.
So anyway, these snacks will help you hit your goals. Cool. All right. So
what food should I bring, Tave?
Well, here, I'm going to tell you right now. All right. So there's many benefits in store if you love to hike, hit the trails. There's one thing you must remember. You must properly fuel up to get the best possible experience out of a hike. It's important to choose food for hiking that will energize you, whether for a single or multi-day adventure. Making the right food choices makes all the difference. You can burn as many as thousands of calories on a single day's hike. Based on how straining the trail is or how long you take, this could easily leave you tired and dehydrated, so carrying high energy food goes a long way. Before getting into the best foods to choose for your hike, here are some of the most important qualities to pay attention to when going through the cabinet on a snack expedition. 1. High calories. The hours of hiking mean that you will burn a lot of calories, so consider replenishing them with high-calorie foods. Calorically dense carbs and proteins, for instance, will keep you going. 2. Rich in nutrients. While calories are important for hiking, it is still crucial to go for the healthy, nutrient-rich options filled with vitamins, fibers, and minerals. 3. Lightweight. You know how long hiking could take. Imagine carrying heavy foods the whole time and how that would derail you. To be safe, you should go for snacks and other food options that are easy to carry. This way, they won't take up too much space and won't slow you down. Or, I think this is my favorite one, taste. You can still enjoy tasty and flavorful food. Some treat the hike as a picnic where they can enjoy tasty foods that are easy to eat, giving them something to look forward to. Now we're going to get into the snacks themselves. Energy bites and/or energy bars. Ask an avid backpacker or hiker, and they will tell you that these snacks are a must-have. Energy bars contain caffeine and protein that you need and are highly nutritious. Energy chews. Carry energy chews to help you fuel up. They generally contain electrolytes that will help you rehydrate. Nuts or nut butter. Nuts are a must-have for any adventurous person. You can carry them along on any outdoor activity, whole or in butter form. You can eat different nut mixes or spread the butter on your dried snacks or fruits such as apples or crackers. Dried fruits. They are nutritious, tasty, and rich in fiber and sugars, which make them popular trail snacks. Some examples include raisins, dates, figs, and apricots, but there are other options out there as well. Trail mix. This is a classic and should be a must if you plan a hike for a day or even longer. You can choose pre-prepared mixes from stores or make your own using nuts, seeds, dried fruits, and dark chocolate. You can even go ahead and personalize it for your nutritional needs. Meat sticks, bacon strips, pepperoni slices, and jerky. These will help you stock up on more proteins and boost your energy. Remember to store them in sealed containers to keep them fresh longer.
Thank you.
That is it for our snack edition. There are other options, but these are probably your best bets because there's also a lot of unhealthy snacks out there. So I want to kind of help people steer toward the healthier options and not.
What about fruits and vegetables?
I would say yes, definitely.
Like
That
celery sticks.
wasn't on my list, but yeah, I definitely think you should bring celery sticks and
ants on a
carrots.
log. Ooh,
Yeah,
I'm
you could
gonna
do
make
ants
some of
on a
those
log.
right now for a snack.
After recording.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, not
definitely
right
what
this
I meant
second.
as I was halfway up
A little
the
ADD
couch.
brain. Gotta go.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Zoomy, zoomy.
Got the zoomies.
Yeah, there's other options out there, like you said. There's ants on a log. There's celery. You know, not if you bring a vegetable, it would have to be something that you can eat raw. So don't bring Brussels sprouts.
Right.
Yeah.
And also don't bring things that have lots of packaging.
Yeah. Try
Like,
to avoid packaging.
because you're just gonna have to carry it out, and don't leave it behind. Whatever you do,
Leave no trace.
we've already talked about that. Leave no trace. But even things like granola bars or things that come in packaging, just put them. They don't need to be in packaging. Like, you could save one layer by taking them out of their packaging before you go on the hike.
Oh, I'm putting like multiple things in one smaller, more condensed container.
Yeah, or like in a one big Ziploc bag.
Like those reusable ones that
Yeah.
came out a while ago.
And then you can put your toilet paper after you eat your snacks in that same Ziploc bag.
Why would you need toilet? Why would you put your toilet paper in there?
I said once you've eaten your snack.
Out your garbage bag. You can then use
Yeah.
it as a no trace bag.
Mm-hmm.
You can use that as your negative trace bag too. Yes.
Yeah.
You remember what negative trace means?
Yeah, to pick up more things than you, that are even than yours.
Yeah.
That are not yours.
Yeah.
Pick up things that are not yours.
Yeah. So make sure you bring your evidence bags.
Pick up garbage.
Bring your evidence bags with you on your trail.
Yeah.
Just in case. You never know.
You never know.
Well, thank you for that. I really enjoyed today's stories.
Me too.
What was your favorite part of the stories?
I liked the bison.
I know I like the bison.
I liked Leon.
Oh, it's so cute. I want a bison pet, bison friend. Do like maybe one of those tiny little stuffed animal ones?
Great.
Not a real big one.
The World Wildlife Fund, my mom used to donate to them
every
year. And they'd send her like sometimes little stuffed animals of different animals that she quote unquote helped.
Oh. So where the
to
turtles and the bear and stuff came from up at camp?
I don't know where those came from. Maybe some of them are, but
yeah.
I remember we got a bison at one point.
And now they're Orion chew toys. If he can manage to get one.
No, now they're in a drawer up there because Orion gets his stupid mouth all over them.
Yeah,
and makes them crunchy. Makes their fur crunchy with his saliva.
Wobbery. Yeah. Well, I think that's it from us crazy people here at Falls Summit. For every mountain is just one more almost there.
And if you enjoyed today's episode, please rate, review, and subscribe. Takes a fraction of a second. It takes a moment.
Second of your time.
Second of your time.
Press the button.
Press the button. Press the 5 stars.
Yeah.
Hint, hint.
Do it right now.
Do it right now. There's
We'll wait.
We're waiting.
We're waiting.
We now have a rate link in our Instagram profile. It's super easy, but if you don't want to do that or you don't follow us on Instagram, you don't have an Instagram, great. Just type us in on Google.
Google.
And find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Castbox.
Yeah. All the places that you listen to us and love us.
Great. And actually, that might be interesting if I kind of want to put a poll out there at some point to see where people are listening to us.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a lot of Spotify. We got a lot of Apple Music.
Because we have our metrics. We have our analytics metrics.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I always trust it 100%.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it won, and it says this on there that it takes a while for it to
Update or whatever.
update. But like, I don't know. Like, I've already seen it glitch a little bit, but whatever. But back to that. So if you enjoyed today's episode, please rate, review, and subscribe. And if you didn't enjoy it, well, maybe that's your epic fail for the week.
Hee hee.
But if you've got any questions, stories, or trail fails of your own, hit us up. Email us at fallsummit.pod@gmail.com or fallsummit.pod on Instagram. We'll be back next week with more tales of misadventures and questionable decisions. Until then, happy trails.
And don't fall off a cliff. See you out there.